Well, hey folks, just had a little excitement here this morning. It was really cool, actually. I decided to hunt just a couple hours or so, and then I'd hang around the camp and help Lori prepare the feast if she needs my assistance. She usually doesn't, but I want to be there. And I decided to hunt a stand which is only about 60 yards from my little bush camp. And when I hunt, I always have a day pack with me with all of my equipment. But since I'm hunting so close to the bush camp, instead of crowding my stand with the pack, I just left it there. So I'm in my stand, I'm glancing around, and I happen to look, and right at the back left corner of the bush camp is a bear. He's just standing there, sniffing the wind. And I'm going, I wonder if he's winding me. And then I thought, oh, he's probably smelling the contents of my backpack, because I got granola bars and snacks in there. And then I'm going, what am I going to do if he grabs my pack and makes a run for it? I'm not going to shoot him. He's just a little bear anyway. But I'm like, I'm going to have to track him and go find my backpack all torn up somewhere. But he didn't, luckily. He just sniffed the wind, and he turned, and he wandered off. And I've given him about 30 minutes or so to get on his merry way. He's just a little bear out looking for a snack, and I'm glad that he didn't take mine. And my pack is right there. The bear was right there. Okay? And the tracks. Bush camp's right here. Yeah. He walked down there. And then he walked that way. So he didn't get my granola bar. I'm happy about that. But even more so, I'm very grateful that he didn't get my Vienna sausages. Because if he had, I'd have to have a talk with him. Mama does most of the prep work the day before the feast. She cooks all the squash and makes my favorite pie, with a little help from Matilda, of course. And she bakes it all in the wood-fired oven, and it always comes out delicious. One of my favorite holiday dishes is her version of green bean casserole. And this is how she makes it.
For this recipe I use 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of beans. We like to put our beans up when they're young and tender from the garden. So I'm just going to get these pre-cooked a little bit. So I use about 1/2 stick of butter. I like to use a small to medium onion for this recipe, cooked really low to caramelize it. Another ingredient I throw in for the twist is cheese. I use cheddar cheese, about 8 ounces in the casserole. We like mushrooms, so I throw in a little 4-ounce can of mushrooms. Can of mushroom soup, cream of mushroom, any brand will do. And then a can full of 1/2 and 1/2. Okay, I'm going to call it good for these onions, and I'm going to put them right into the casserole. All right, now it's time for the beans.
This is really yummy stuff, folks, I gotta tell you. It really, really is. It's all cooked together and it's crispy on the top. Boy.
And I got one more step. Alright, so the final step, I get a little more butter couple tablespoons. I'm going to melt that. A little bit of panko, probably like a half a cup. So I get these panko crumbs buttered up good, and I went ahead and used the same pan I did the onions in because there's still flavor in there. Alright. We are going to pop this into the Kitchen Queen. Open this up a little bit. I want to bring that temperature up a little. Now we'll give this some air. Okay. Those are nice and tender. I put a little broth in there with it, and that'll go into the stuffing. We use a commercial stuffing mix. I like Bell's or Pepperidge Farm. So I got my celery, onion, the butter it was sauteed in, and some chicken broth. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit before I stuff the bird. Sometimes I put breakfast sausage in the stuffing. My mother always did, and it's really good that way. But I don't have any right now. Some people like to use the giblets. Anyway, I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, and I'll stuff the bird just before it goes in the oven. The green bean casserole is just about done. So we're going to trade places to put the bird in the oven. Just a little foil shield for the early stage of cooking, and then I'll pull this off. It's looking good, bubbling.
I think tomato plants are done. So the turkey is in the oven. Mom is doing all the cleanup, and I decided to come down here and putter on things. I have all of these ropes hanging from the cucumber vines, and I want to take it all down. And, oh, it's always just nice to mess around in the greenhouse. It's good therapy, and Thanksgiving is kind of a bittersweet one this year. Lori was just outside playing with Tildy, and right about this time of day, 1 year ago today, Frankie had his last playtime. Yeah, it's been a year, man. Ready? I can't overemphasize how grateful I am for Lori for taking the time every day to give those dogs their playtime. She would go out in the yard and throw toys for them, and they just loved their little play sessions. Frankie was old and slowing down and couldn't see very well and couldn't play the way that he used to, but he played the way that he could, and he loved it. And Thanksgiving Day was his last playtime, because that evening he was crippled and could no longer stand up, and his fun days were over. It just reinforces what I say about life can change in a blink, and you have to be grateful for what you have while you have it. I've never been one for anniversaries of deaths and stuff like that, but my God, it's hard not to think about it. But nonetheless, as much of a loss as we suffered, we are very, very grateful for all of the time that we had with him about 15 years with that wonderful dog, and I shared all of his nonsense with you. And one of these days I will make a nice tribute to him, but I just haven't been able to watch all that footage. Yeah, a lot of people shed a lot of tears over him. He was such a gem. But again, we're thankful and grateful for all the time that we had with him, and I got to share all of his antics with the world, and he'll never be forgotten, man. Yeah. So it's 5 minutes to 3. Mama says the turkey is done. Okay. All right. Oh, squeaky old bones. Stay away from the steam cloud.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. What'd you do, rotate it one time?
Actually, I didn't rotate it at all.
Oh, you didn't?
Probably should have thought to, but looks good.
Wow, look at that. That looks awesome. Oh, that's yummy. That looks just awesome.
Yeah, it looks great.
Wood-fired turkey, folks.
Well, I gotta make gravy.
So she did it once again, folks.
Who's the she, me or the kitchen queen?
You are the kitchen queen. Yeah, man. Our 7th Thanksgiving turkey, cooked in the KQ. What do you think, Tildy?
Gravy looks
What do you
good.
think? For a written version of Lori's green bean casserole, as well as many other recipes that I've shared with you over the years, just go to the Frankie and the Boss website, and the link is in the description below. Green bean casserole. This is so good. Oh, this is so good. Look at that. Oh, creamy, cheesy. And the mashed potatoes. And hell. Gosh.
All the fixins.
Look at that.
Tilly's trying to.
She is. Oh, gravy. What do you think, Tildy?
I like gravy. All right, let's eat.
Let's eat.
But first, we give thanks.
We do. Well, hey, my friends, our 7th Thanksgiving up here on the mountain is behind us. And once again, it was a fabulous feast. Except for cooking the onions on the gas burner, Lori prepared that entire meal with the wood burner, and it came out fantastic. That turkey was so juicy. Ah, it was just wonderful. When you prepare a meal like that, or any meal really, with the firewood that you collected from your land, and you're not making an extra fire, not a special fire to cook with, it's the same fire that you're heating the house with, and you prepare all that food and it comes out like that, the novelty never wears off. It is just a cool experience, and it's what off-grid and self-reliance is all about, right? You're not using any electricity, no fuel of any kind. It's just the firewood that you harvested to heat the house with. It's really, really cool. So anyway, this has been a wonderful month. I've been here most of the month. I did take off for a few days. I went back to the New York cabin. I wanted to check on my solar and do a little hunting, and that turned out really good, which you saw in my last video. And now I've been back here, and I've been really, really picky about the hunting. I haven't shot anything. I've let everything walk. And then I saw that little bear. That was so cool, and I'm so thankful that he didn't take off with my backpack. So now that I'm going to be packing it in, I've been saving my food scraps, and I'm going to haul them way out in the woods and dump them out for the little bear. A little Thanksgiving gift for him. I'm going to put a trail camera on it to see who gets there first, and most likely the ravens will find it, but I hope the little bear has a little feast for himself since he didn't feast on my granola bars and Vienna sausage. But anyway, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'm going to get this video finished up and go to town and upload it to you. So that's it for now. All the best to you, and God bless.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go. There's a pokey way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss.